I'm a man who comes from other countries. Yes, I'm a foreigner.
Hi guys, today we are interviewing the Poncho Brotherz family, and I would like to introduce two of the key founding members.
I'm Isaac Tapia.
And I'm Jackie Tapia.
Thank you for joining us today. Off with getting to know a little about who you guys are, where you come from, and kind of just like what led you to now being up here in Humboldt, California.
You talk a lot.
Maybe your version first.
What would you like to eat? Go ahead, babe.
Well, we grew up in a Christian home, both of us, and it's been a journey since then. Gosh, where do we start?
Where were you born?
So I'm from Southern California, Imperial Valley, and grew up there for like my first 8 years, and my dad became a pastor, went and took over a church in Texas, so I was there for 5 years.
There you go.
The truth serum.
Open up.
Let's see. Gosh, that's going way back.
Start.
I know. I was just an infant of a little kid of a baby back there sucking on my mama's titty.
Let's just start with the Poncho Brotherz, I guess.
Yeah, we'll start from like when you guys were like in the Bay still.
Yeah. When you say stars, like, wow. What was it?
Isaac pretty much just graduated high school, going to college.
Yeah.
But just a little bit about us is that we got married in high school. My senior year, her junior year. She stole my heart. I knew she was like some super hot Latina woman, and I was like, yeah, that's what I want. And I was like this athlete, nerdy, glass kid, running track, you know, having the fastest time in the state of California. I wish my mom would have kept that article. That'd been sweet. And then when I saw her, it was like just, I knew, I was like, man, I got to try to get her. Stole her heart, chased her until she caught me.
Track went downhill.
Track went downhill, lost my scholarships. I remember my coach today, he still follows me on Instagram, but he's still proud of me. But he took me from the slowest kid to the fastest kid in the state of California. Appreciate you, Alvin. And just really worked hard. And the best part about that is that we were so involved in church that as we got married, my parents weren't really pushing a lot of education. A lot of Hispanic members that go to church and different things, like in like say the lower income families, working class families, you know, always talk about getting a job and going and getting a career, getting the union. We make great money. I'm telling you, I make over 6 figures being in the union now and still today. But you know, just not really pushing education. So when we got married, you know, we basically wanted to change a lot of things we were raised from, a lot of things that we were taught, and being in a very Hispanic, very traditional family, you know, even though
we were raised to be devoted to our church.
Our church, and
everything about our life was church.
Yeah, and then over a period of that time, you know, there's a lot of stories that we can get into later, but we're just going to talk about the Poncho Brothers. After Isaac graduated, along the way before he graduated, it was a life-changing. These are like 3 life-changing experiences in our life. One, when Isaac became diabetic, went into a coma, almost died. That was a very dramatic day for both of us.
Yeah.
It's still like yesterday. No matter how old he is, 26 now, he still reminds me of that little infant that as a father, I loved being a father. Like for me, I didn't care about anything else in the world but being a great father. There's no crying on the video. We had to stop it. No, that day was very dramatic when our son became diabetic. We didn't know it was. We believe a lot of things have to do with the, well, I'd say just vaccinations at that time, if you go back, look at records, but that's another story in itself. So that was a very dramatic time for us, almost losing our son. But another very dramatic time that was actually a life-changing experience was when our son said he wanted to be vegan.
Chewy, come over here.
As a Mexican family and your kid going vegan, holy moly, that's like a no-no. But we did something different. We asked them, okay, do research, find out what you can eat, and that way we can, if we're going to eat dinner, we want you to have the right supplements as well, because we only thought the way that they taught us. You know, and that was a good life-changing experience, but changes our lives today, which brings us to the Poncho Brothers. Us being very supportive. They're always in sports, always athletic. We always put them in everything. Something my dad always says is that if you can expose them to as many things as possible, they'll have a better chance of success, because they'll be able to relate to anybody and also be exposed to anything, which allows their education and their mind to be elaborated on the world society. And so I took that advice as a father, wanted to be a great father, and brought us to the Poncho Brothers. And at that time, when they were in Berkeley High School, they started doing a lot of protests. And us as parents, we were very supportive of finding our roots, finding that we were related. We have Apache, finding that our true Hispanic roots of being in Californian Hispanic, for Mexican for years, you know, being native, but also having that Spanish blood where my grandfather, my dad's side, came from Spain. You know, the great grandfathers. It wasn't just also. If you look at our history of how we don't know it as much as we should, but being able to go back and look at families and people that are alive, tracing it back and really knowing where it came from, the roots of all of our family, it was pretty exciting for us, and really helped us the transition from Christianity to being more of in line with spirit. You know, believing and understanding that our creation and the things that we tap into only leads us to basically give all of our knowledge to the next generation. And that leads us now with Poncho Brothers. We work, so I was in construction. My wife was an accountant, and you know, I told my sons when I was 36, I think it was 36 or 38. They're about to graduate high school, and we wanted to do something different. We believe the family structures are dying. You know, they want to put a stereotype of what a man is, a stereotype of what a woman is, but a true dynamic when everybody follows their path. It really lines them up with as a father and as a mother, creating a tribe as a family and being a unit again. They used to say a village raised a child, but yet now there's no more village. I don't know. I'm probably talking a lot.
Yeah, you are.
But I'm just excited because we wanted them. In return, we said, look, you got till I'm 50. I'm 47, and I said, you guys can either go to college, get a job, get an education, and try to follow that path, or you guys can follow your passion, live every day of your life, and enjoy what you do, so that way you can give your children the next opportunity of being free and being free-minded to be free thinkers. I think that we are so raised up in a society that it really teaches us to follow and to be followers of what the next, you know, just basically followers, and changing that mentality, let each individual become themselves, is something that my wife has really enforced on us. I would say that it was a lot of her concept in that manner.
Yeah, I would say it's the boys, the Poncho Brothers, that actually helped me open my mind outside of our upbringing with the religious background. So for them, you know, me having to change how our parents or grandparents or even our ancestors, if that's, you know, the way we're taught is that your elders are speaking, you be quiet, you know, and so if anything, it encouraged me to view it in a different way, to where the children are speaking. Let's actually listen to what they have to say. Children are intelligent, and seeing the world through their eyes. You know, even though I say I was narrow-minded because I was so stuck on what, you know, I never thought anything was true outside of the Bible until they opened my eyes to it. And I had to open myself up to the fact that there is more truth outside of the Bible, and historically, spiritually, and so when it came to the cannabis side, that was something that I thought was just a recreational thing and just something for people to go out and, you know, be high and partying, you know. And when we look back and talk to family members, grandmas or aunties, uncles, you know, they say, yeah, they used to have cannabis leaves in alcohol, and they use that as medicine. So when Isaac Jr. started smoking and we saw the difference in his, you know, being a diabetic, how it affected him health-wise in a positive way, I had to open my mind up to that, you know, and the fact that, hey, weed is not just, it's not a drug like the government made us believe and programmed us to believe. It's actually an herb from the freaking earth, you know, and we should treat it as such, just like how we treat other stuff. And that's our medicine. And if that was helping my son to use less insulin, yet less pharmaceutical drugs, then why not? And so being open is the first step, but I think was what led us here. And
Go ahead.
A question for you two. How does it, feel being parents of, kids that have just grown with this mentality to, strive for better, work hard at everything they do, and now to see their success blossoming?
are you talking about my sons in general? Or?
Yeah, your sons in general.
I think it has a lot to do with allowing them that open space to be creative. We were speaking earlier. You know, you can see in a child's mind when they are not being oppressed and not being pushed to only, being like how Isaac was bringing up, just college or a job. If they're not pushed to just do that and those are their only options, and they're actually allowing them or giving them that time and space to, see if they've got any creative things that they would like to dab into, well then why not actually provide that support for your child while they're young? And if there's nothing that they want to do other than, hey, there's some that they find joy in the jobs that are out there and working for somebody else, and we can't knock that. That's what we do. We're working for other people, and for us it's just a means to get us through to where we need to go to. So we're still in the system. We still have to play by the rules in order to get ahead, or it's more like a stepping stone.
Well, for me, it's more of I look at it as what my father has instilled in me. Am I giving my sons the ability to give them a head start? Did I give them the right amount of tools to succeed in this life? If I die today, will they continue to move forward and be striving to become great men and become successful in their lives, or will they quit and cry and whine or complain? There's a philosophy that I raised them on, was basically this: everybody wants acceptance and appreciation. You have to learn to live without it. And I think that's the hardest part. When we go to work, when we go to school, or wherever, we're always taught for approval. And in that approval, we lose ourselves. So something I wanted them to find was that the simpleness, as we get our light fixed, the simpleness of creating a better life for them is that they have to actually, it's almost sometimes like a lonely road, because you become the leader and not a follower. And they've really adapted into finding their passion, finding their love. And, along the way and in every journey, you always sometimes want to quit. There's always going to be roadblocks. There's always going to be downfalls. Just for instance, for myself, having a hard time how to read, and basically really focusing on and learning how to read. I read a little slower than most people do, but when I read, as I understand it, I got a great memory. Being able to talk in public, being able to win a crowd, whoa a crowd, get excited a crowd, and start a riot in a crowd, I think that's a gift in itself. But in reality, I'm just very proud of my sons because they're following their hearts and their passion. We go through life so much of the struggle of just living that we forget to live. We focus on living, like I got to get this, got to do this, but we miss the opportunity of living. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but if you really think about it, is that in life, I'm always focused on, now as a father, is my son okay? Waking up, making sure I get a phone call from my son Isaac. Isaiah, him and his boxing and him and his writing and very creativity. It's like a dual life, focusing on that journey. And then Elijah, our youngest, is that his food's so great, I just can't wait for the world to eat it, to taste it. And so just from us as parents, we're thankful for each other, and we're thankful for our kids, because in return, a friend of mine mentioned, his name is Chris Lopez, we always say lightning nose, we were talking about eternal life, and he says that his philosophy was that the only way we live eternally is by our next generation, and that is true. If we don't teach our next generation everything we know, we'll never live forever. That's why I believe the stories of our grandparents, the stories that need to be told, the stories that need to be asked. But I think society now has turned away from family and so much for being individual, that I think if we can create that family dynamic again, so that's why I'm really proud of my sons.
All right, you guys. So, as the Poncho Brothers, the familiar faces everybody has come to know, what are some things that you have to say to the community? Not even, just about like what your guys' mission are, but who you are as people, and what you would like to bring to the table.
Shoot. Well, just from the cannabis standpoint of people knowing us as Poncho Brothers, a dispensary, family farm, just with the cannabis alone, we're coming at you guys with something different, something unique, something that hasn't been found in a market for a while or at all. We have strains that people have forgotten about, like just original landrace strains, which are strains that come from the wild, to hybrids that have been tried and true from like the 80s, 90s to the early 2000s. And that's just with the cannabis side. That's just me knowing, like, as a farmer, as a grower, we're always going to bring something different, something that's unique. And what we stand for cannabis is being able to have everybody try it and have access to it. That's like always been our mission, is to have people try something that we know for a fact you haven't tried, even though you may think that you've been smoking longer than I've been alive, or you've been in the industry for a while. We're still, as young as we are, we have more knowledge than I think anybody in the San Francisco or Bay Area. As a retailer, we have more knowledge as people who are growing true sativas. So with that, we're bringing that to the Bay Area, people who, are everyday people just like us, showing like you can do it. It does take a family, it does take a tribe, it takes a team, but showing how we do, just from following our own path, following our own motto, not trying to copy somebody. It's easy for us not have to. It's like something that I want to share is like, it's important to be yourself no matter what, no matter if this something is more easy, it's like a route is more set in stone. It's okay to take those leaps of faith, and having that true belief is like what we always want to show, is being able to show how you can do it. You don't need what is said to start a business. You don't need whatever they're saying to become a top brand in California or in anywhere. Take that in any business that you're doing. There's always rules that are needing to be bent. Seeing how the wealthy play the game and how what they do. We always learn about things afterwards on reels and shit. You find out little hooks and crannies that you can do to set yourself up for the win. But we're that true living testament right there in the mud, showing how we're growing shit that nobody's got. Shit. Even Isaiah can say heck of stuff just on the design, like his aspect. And
for me, and what I do with Poncho Brothers, being the visual director on how we go about being a brand, or how we're received, is always been a fun aspect to Poncho Brothers, because there's scenes that we look at. Whenever we have created bag designs, it's been like, how do I feel? What do I want you to feel? And then ultimately, what do you get from the smoking the sativas or indicas? But ultimately, it goes down to plants are medicine. It goes back to our grandparents and their grandparents, how we still to this day get medicine from plants. And we want you to be able to feel a homeostasis, a balance within yourself. Yeah, use it recreational, use it medicinal, however you do use it. Don't criticize yourself. Don't judge yourself, because we already deal with that so socially in our society. So us as Poncho Brothers is wanting to unveil the the myths and legends behind cannabis, because it's all just smoke screens and just illusions that have been told to us. Good propaganda, but that's where for us we would like to unveil those truths to you through the medicine. Yeah. If you want.
Elijah, would you
Yeah,
like to say
to add to
anything?
that, we're being the test of time of standing out and being different. We're not afraid of that. A lot of people told us no along the way, that we can't do what we have accomplished, and just shows you that anyone in the world, in a bigger mission standpoint from all of us as a family, is pursue your dreams no matter what. A lot of people are going to tell you you can't do it, and once you accomplish that, look what you've done and continue to still do. So with that, it's just us giving love to everybody, showing cannabis as a plan on how magical it is and how healing it could be, or just having fun and just enjoying life to the fullest.
How would you say you guys, like, as a trio, like, work together? You know, like, what's the dynamic like, you know, day in and day out between, you know, three brothers?
A lot of shit talking.
I was gonna say the same thing.
A lot of shit talking. We're always talking shit to each other, but that keeps us on our toes. When someone's going through it, we notice, like with us three, like you can't say like if something's wrong, you know what's up. And
Not even just as business partners, but like as brothers. It's more we are brothers first, and that's how we look at being in a business together. You know, like yeah, we all play our roles in the business, but we expect and also respect each other's boundaries and what our job titles are. Like I'm not gonna expect my brother to be on the creative aspect, know what a JPEG and know what like so many of these other things on the dang creative aspect, and then vice versa when it comes to me growing. Even though when we first started growing, we all dove in, but that's how we also keep each other. We ask each other questions. Well, how is this looking? What like what does it look like? What do you need? What can I do to help? So we all wear a bunch of different hats at the same time. So nobody feels overburdened and overwhelmed. Because yeah, it does get overwhelming at times. But knowing that we do have a whole squad and a whole our family unit, it's like, dude, I'm stressing for no reason. You know, I have a minute to myself. Okay, let me just relax, breathe. All right, they were right. I got this. You know. But it always comes back to grounding each other, checking each other in a good way, because and sometimes it doesn't come off like that. There's no right way to say or a critique. You know, it may come off like, oh damn, dude, that was fucked up. but it, like it's because we do love each other. It's because we do want the success for this. That it's the harder things must be said.
And yeah, it's I feel like it's easy. Yeah, like my brother said, we're brothers before we're business partners. The business is just what's needed to be done in the society that we live in. You know, we're not going to cause a revolution, and not that many people are going to join. If we were to do that, we would. But hell no, people want to work, people want to pay bills, people want to pay taxes. So, all right, well, this is who we are. We are business partners as Poncho Brothers. But no, it's like it's easy for us because it's at the end of the day, it's something that we get to wake up and strive for. So it's viewing business as war. We view it like chess, you know. If we're in war together, if we're in business together, we're at war together, going against, competitors, going against other people in the industry. It's not like we're viewing them as competition. It's just capitalism. So what are you gonna do? And that's just how we view it. So it's like, if we are all in this together and we're all like 300 Sparta holding the shield up, I know he's got my back. I don't even got to question like, does he know this move? I know he's got my back. I know he knows all the moves too. So it's like, if we're already right there, and then we have our parents, my mom being the numbers, helping us navigate through taxes and finding all the, what we need to do to keep everything going. You know, that's where my mom comes in, helps us, educates us on that. You know, her organization is very translated to Elijah. Elijah has very good organization. But like, you know, we all wear many hats, but we're all not having to worry if this is being done from this side of the business or my side of the business. It's like we don't have to call to see if he's accountable. You know, like working out, doing sports and all that. Like the same work ethic I have is the same work ethic we all have. So it's pretty much easy. It's like how we were brought up. I don't have to worry about my brother being selfish and is gonna take the couple thousand we got and go spend it on himself and go. And I'm gonna be like, hey, did you get those designs done? Oh no, you just took that money and go what? No, hell no. We don't gotta worry about nothing. You know, like nobody. We know in our circle we're not gonna do each other wrong. You know, and right now it's like all of us pitching in together so that way all of this can be able to happen, where most people can't really pitch in all together because it's always me, for myself, what I have to pay in taxes, what I have to do, what I got. You know, my dad says like how people, you know, they would have kicked me out first, then he would have been next to get kicked out, then he would have been next to get kicked out, and then it just creates this as siblings that people don't need to have to go through. It's gonna happen. It's not saying it's not right, it's not wrong. People become successful going through that, but for what we are doing and what we've been able to accomplish, people my dad's age are still trying to get in the industry. People are my age, 26, 30, and still trying to just get into any little job, you know, as a bud tender or this. Like, people my age don't run a farm. People my age don't know what to grow. They don't know, you know, so it's like steps in the process of planning and knowing
Staying
that,
true to ourselves.
like, yeah, we all have a calling, and we're all following that calling through the banner of Poncho Brotherz. You know, people got to see us just as a cannabis dispensary and farm, not even knowing anything really about us, like what we really do besides just, oh, here's some cannabis, smoke this, get high. No, what the hell? Like, we want to be able to talk to people about, like, just spiritual stuff to medicinal things, from the healing aspect, me having diabetes type 1. So, you know, that's where my pancreas doesn't work. I want to be able to educate and help people who have diabetes, who may be experiencing symptoms that I used to face before I smoked cannabis or before I even went to eating vegan or eating plant-based. So there's like things that are evolving to where the bigger goal is to be this like spot for people to view it as like a pharmacy, how people viewed pharmacies back in the early 1900s, where that doctor lived in that area and would sell like medicinal remedies and alcohol with cannabis in it, and like bring that back to viewing our dispensary as like true medicine. We have, you know, all of our home strains, all of our own clones, genetics verified, and like really showing like the different things from his food to his future restaurants that we're planning on, you know. Like that's what we want to end up at, where, you know, Poncho Brotherz is this like pinnacle for just health, knowing like we came from the urban jungle, you know, the concrete jungle, the cities, you know, born in Oakland, went to Arroyo High School, Encinal High School, Berkeley High School, graduated from. So, you know, just knowing that that's where I came from. I didn't come from somebody teaching me how to grow. What the hell? You know, I didn't know shit. Just read books. I was in the Bay Area, where the best, you know, form of education is supposed to be at, you know. But through that access to having, you know, 3 major cities, 3, you know, sets of, like, different people, and having the open-mindedness that, you know, we were raised on, to, like, just knowing how to gain information and knowledge, whether it's from, you know, hanging out with people that were from the streets, to hanging out to, like, you know, the baseball type people, to, you know, the urban, like, let's go party type people, you know, to, like, now we're over here seeing the hippie fucking back to earth type, you know, white people, to seeing, like, just everything. The rednecks over here, like, we got more redneck friends up here because they're fucking cool as shit, dude. They want to protect their land. They say, get the fuck off our land. I'm like, hell yeah, man. You keep the motherfuckers off our land too. Yeah, what the hell, you know? But it's just funny, you know? At the end of the day, Poncho Brotherz is just showing how you can follow the model of business of 3 main things that we all need, which is just food, place to sleep, some water. That's all we really need. That's all we're doing here at Poncho Brothers on the farm is we got best water, we got spring water, rainwater, we got fucking food that we grow. Pretty soon we'll be eating off of our own land, at least 75%, hopefully, by next year. And then, you know, from there, just working on getting more farmland throughout California, being able to grow all types of different crops. You know, that's us buying property, us being able to have like a Poncho Brother union where, you know, all these farms are like, you know, family owned like us, to where we can have, you know, our cousins or our families or our friends and like families all being in this like cooperative, this farming cooperative, to being able to supply Eliza's restaurants with, you know, the food we grow. So the same model of, you know, farm to retail for our dispensary is the same model of business that we're going to be doing for his restaurant, farm to table. And yeah, just showing people like people that look like me and you, people who come from the, you know, somewhere where somebody wouldn't farm. People in the Bay Area don't want to get their fucking nails dirty. They don't want to fucking dig in the dirt and go like that. They'd be like, oh, what the hell? The hell? I just connected with Mother Earth. The fuck? You know, but no, shit. Just showing people how to get back to the land.
One final question to wrap up with you guys. Is there anything you're looking forward to in the future? You know, like if you want to tell, you know, the viewers, you know, like some upcoming things that you guys have planned, or, you know, unveiling some, you know, things.
And then some new strains that'll finally be able to get packaged and be in the store. There'll be a total of, I think, 13 strains.
But we got to start off with a couple.
So the first two that'll be in store are Oaxacan Blues, which is a strain we made, and the Purgatory, which is kiwi. So if you follow us on Instagram, you know we've been growing this strain called kiwi. My brother's gonna name it Purgatory.
It knocks you out. It's like
It's
our Donnie Burger.
Imagine
So those of you who know Donnie Burger, it's like a good KO punch. You know?
It's lethal because you think it's sweet, you think it's good. It's got the sweet, funky Afghani hit, but then it gets fucking deadly the more you inhale.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just those are the new things. I mean, other than that,
I guess music that we'll create in the future. Maybe some performances from all of us sometime soon. And maybe some pop-ups from me. You'll be seeing some food out there, so stay tuned for that.
hell yeah. Also, shout out to our cousin Juan. He's going to be fighting on New Year's Eve.
Always putting it down.
Hell yeah. So he's the Japanese bantamweight champion right now in MMA for the company called Ryzen. And yeah, he's tearing it up out there. He's got his upcoming fight. After this, he'll be the undisputed Ryzen bantamweight champion. And yeah, man, for what he does for Poncho Brothers, a lot of people don't know is like he's involved heavily in our farm. You know, from how he helped us. He introduced us to a lot of companies out in SoCal back in 2021. You know, that's before we had our shop. You know, he was taking us, shopping us, you know, down there, showing us distributions and a lot of people in the dispensary scene out there. So we got put on some game, you know, seeing what people are doing in the indoor scene and seeing how that held up compared to the strains we had. And you know, he could tell you too. You know, he's always saying like our shit is like 10 out of a 10, and you compare it to the LA stuff. That LA stuff's like at a 2. You know, it's like, you know, he comes through, he helps us out. You know, whenever the farm is needing anything, whether it's more nutrients or amendments or you know some earthworm castings or whatever it is that we need here at the farm. You know, that's where my cousin Juan comes in. If we're ever in a bind or caught up or something, that's where my cousin Juan comes through. He also took Elijah to Japan.
But, yeah, on his last 2 fights out from Japan, he took me with him and my little cousins and his wife Janae, shout out. But it was a wonderful journey, and I got to experience that. And him in his fight camp, like it's such a unique experience getting to experience that in person, and I'm very thankful for that because that trip will always be such a memorable moment. And shout out to you, Juan, for everything that you do, and we all appreciate it here. And when you visit up on the farm or when I go down there, you already know I'm going to throw down in the kitchen for you to celebrate your victory. Heck yeah.
Likewise. For me, one, I do massage therapy as well on the side, where I go for his fight camp before he heads out, work on him for a little bit, get his body back into like rehab shape where he's got his recovery, everything's looking nice, flexibility's looking good. But that's something, every time I see him, he's like, hey, could you work on this? Same thing with my brothers, so it's something I do as well. But it's always looking forward to seeing him fight. I want to say it's a couple more weeks out.
New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve. Hell yeah. Whoop his ass, Juan.
Okay.
I want to thank our viewers for catching up for the first time with the Poncho Brothers, legendary family out of the Bay Area. But last thing I want to ask you guys is, what is your message to the community? What is your message to the larger audience that is going to be watching this? And, you know, what do you want the people to take away from who you guys are at the end of the day?
Oh, shit. Go ahead.
Shit. I got you. You got me right now. Overall, for us, it's about rebuilding the family unit. Us having the parents that we do have, we got pretty much surrounded by love and unconditional love and support. My brothers and and the mission that we do have is to spread the same kind of love that my parents gave us and the chance that we would like to give to our communities when businesses start like going bigger and better and everything. But at the end of the day, we start from the grassroots. We got to see in different attributes of what we've been a part of. Here is my shoulders, brother, and this is my little big brother.
The illusion of the ground. We made them all tall.
Bubblegum, bubblegum,